Hello, and thank you for joining TPC Vision for this presentation of 5 tips for conducting successful digital interviews. As a quick legal disclaimer, this communication and any accompanying documents are intended for educational and informational purposes only, do not constitute legal information, and should not be relied on as such. While we hope that you'll learn a lot today, we are not attorneys, and the information should not be construed as legal advice. If you're seeking legal advice, you are encouraged to consult an attorney. The purpose of today's presentation is to encourage efficient and effective recruiting and hiring efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. Digital interviewing tip number 1, think outside the office. So when operating under these new social parameters, social distancing, isolation, quarantine, stay-at-home orders, our old approaches to recruitment, to interviewing, just aren't going to work. You cannot have a candidate come to your office safely without risk of exposure to you, to your team, to the candidate. So we have to think up some new ideas. This is an opportunity for you as an HR person to think about what you could do differently. How can your company in particular approach recruitment and hiring in a unique way that will make candidates feel warm and welcome despite not being able to meet with you in person? How can you get what you need out of the interviewing process? How can you get all the answers and get the feel for if this person is right for your team and if you're right for them without that in-person contact? So now is the time to really think this through and innovate, to recreate our processes in a way that meets all our needs outside of the parameters of a normal interviewing process. Digital interviewing tip number 2, be an open book. The best way to get candidates engaged is to help them understand who you are as a company. Help them get to know you. Help them see themselves as a part of your company. So by publishing a lot of information about your company, not only the standard information about what your benefits package is like and that kind of thing, but what it's like to work with you, you can really capture new candidates and engage new people in a way that maybe you couldn't before, maybe you didn't before. Another important aspect of this is making sure that candidates understand how you as a company have proactively responded to the COVID-19 pandemic. That can really put candidates at ease and help them see themselves making a transition even in the middle of all of these uncertain times. Digital interviewing tip number 3, consistency is king. So automating your digital interviews is a fantastic way to help you get ahead of your goals, help you manage your time, get through potentially a lot of candidates a lot quicker. And so by crafting these processes now, these question sets and all of the different tools that are going to help you be successful, you have the ability to really hone in on what it is that you're looking for. We talked about that a little bit already, but one of the most important things as you create this new process is to be consistent from candidate to candidate, from role to role, so that you are being unbiased in your selection process. Digital interviewing tip number 4, take action intentionally. So many Americans are facing unemployment right now, and employers are in a variety of different positions. Some employers are facing the idea of laying off employees. Some rather are on the opposite end of that spectrum, and maybe they're short-staffed. Maybe the COVID-19 pandemic has created extra demand for them that they're struggling to keep up with. That creates a little bit of an imbalance that we can potentially rebalance for the benefit of our community. So maybe some of those newly unemployed or furloughed employees from one location can come to work for you and meet your needs as well. By moving with intention toward the goal of hiring the right people for these roles, you can avoid losing candidates, and you can also potentially pick up some new hires that are going to be good for you in the long term. Digital interviewing tip number 5, utilize your resources. So we highly recommend, of course, taking advantage of every resource you have at your fingertips. And in order to support you during the pandemic, automated interviewing platform Wedge is providing TPC clients and iSolved clients free for 90 days their seamless product, which integrates with iSolved and allows for hands-off interviews. So by setting up your information in Wedge, you can allow candidates to do digital interviews that are recorded that you can then review. This is great in a lot of ways. So we'll talk about this a little more. So within the iSolved system, you can actually assign the Wedge interview under integrations. It refers to it as a test. It's actually an interview, and it's going to run the candidate through at their convenience, on their timeline, and at their comfort, all of the questions that you have for the given role that they've applied for. And what's great about this is you're going to get all of those answers to all of those questions consistently. You're going to be able to review them at your convenience when your schedule allows, and it saves time for you, because if you find pretty early on in the interview that the candidate is not the right fit, or if you have specific questions that you want to circle back to, the system fully allows for that. You can end the interview early, and it'll still retain that information for you. If you get to the end and you realize maybe you hadn't kind of mentally captured a piece of information, you can skip back through and get what piece of information you need. So it really adds a lot of efficiency and saves time for you by building this on the front end. So if you are interested in building out Wedge and doing a trial run with them for that 90-day free period, your Vision team can help you get that started. We're really excited about this partnership with Wedge. It's a fantastic product. If you decide that you want to continue after the 90-day free trial, it's a low cost, and we highly recommend taking this approach. We'd love to talk to you about it more. Thank you for sitting in with me for a couple of minutes on this TPC Vision 5 Tips webinar. If you have any questions about TPC Vision, we'd love to support you. Just reach out to your sales representative, and we are happy to support. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.